Well, let's move to one of my really most favorite books. I would put it up there with The Spirit of Democratic Capitalism. It's just something that to Doug just went boing, that explains it, you know. And so to start off, I want to ask you about an underlying thesis, I will call it, that you don't see all over the place, like the frontier thesis, and that is the Erie Canal Thesis. Mary loves the Erie Canal too. So,
well, you know, Mary, our mutual friend, Mary Eberstadt's from that upstate New York area. But the name comes from the fact that I noticed how much of American religious history passed through upstate New York. You know, the American Studies idea that began in the late 40s, 50s, spread to American colleges, always went back to the Puritans. And they're undoubtedly important. But Digby Bazell, who did the Quakers, Digby Bazell is the sociologist who coined the word WASP, or the acronym WASP. And he was from Philadelphia, and he said, you know, we always talk about the Puritans, but there were other Protestant sources here, including the Quakers, who had a real influence. For a businessman, one of the things that the Quakers did is they essentially invented or made widespread the price tag. And they did so for deliberately Christian reasons. They thought that bargaining and barter had an element of dishonesty in it, because you were always offering a price you knew wasn't what you were going to pay. And the way to Christianize the marketplace was price tags. Fair price for a fair product. And the Shaker or the Quakers, who were the first to really, in Philadelphia and London, to build department store empires, popularized the price tag. And they did it in the deliberate sense that they were Christianizing to some small degree the paganism of the marketplace. And Digby Bazell looks at that, and he looks at the Puritans, and I think he's quite right that among the Southerners and among the Quakers and among the Puritans, there were alternate sources of this Protestant stuff. But almost all of it, I noticed, in the 18th and 19th century, moves through upstate New York. This is where we get the Mormons. This is where we get the Seventh-day Adventists. This is where we get the revival movement, which created the burnt-over district. It all, like if there were many threads, they all got gathered into upstate New York in the 19th century. We get the spiritualism and the table tapping.
It's part of the Western movement,
yeah.
and the
and
Erie
then it
Canal
explodes out of there. But we get the table tapping
Right.
and the Ouija board stuff. That's all upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called it the Erie Canal Thesis because of that.
Did you make that up?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
didn't know
my
that
phrase,
originated
yeah.
with you. Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
the meaning of the thesis is this. At
beautiful.
Any
It is.
point in American history, if you want to understand what's going on, you have to ask this question. What is the state of Protestant religion at that moment in this country? And everything opens up for you. The Civil War opens up. The Revolutionary War opens up out of the Great Awakening. The Prohibition, abolitionism before the war. Everything opens up if you ask yourself, what is the state of Protestant religion? Sometimes the answer is going to be very high. Sometimes it's going to be very bad. But that's the question you need to ask to really understand any particular moment in American history, including our moment. If we ask in 2014, as I saw what would become called the woke movement emerging, I saw this, in the preface I talk about wandering down. I'd been given a magazine assignment to write about Occupy Wall Street. Remember Occupy Wall Street? And I'm talking to these kids down there. I ended up not writing the piece because I didn't have the answer yet. But I realized something, that there was a profound spiritual anxiety about them. This desperate knowledge to be thought to be good and to be recognized as good. And I thought, gradually what came to mind is Emil Durkheim, Max Weber, Peter Berger, that line of sociological analysis, which takes spiritual anxiety really seriously as a sociological phenomenon. And I said, if we ask the Erie Canal question, what's the state of Protestant religion? It is these post-Protestants who have lost all of the old religion, but they still have this fundamental Protestant question, which is, how do I know that I am saved?